event. Hopefully, hopefully this all works. We'll see. It's been a little while since I've done a live lesson outside, so hopefully everything works the way it's supposed to. Hopefully I click all the right buttons. Hopefully you're all ready to learn a little bit of English. So we'll get started in about 26 seconds. I'm doing one or two different things out here as well. So I'm trying to make sure everything works. You'll notice the bigger camera, or the river cam, is a different camera. Hopefully it's a bit clearer and you enjoy it. We'll start in 10 seconds. Hopefully you're all ready to learn some English. 3, 2, 1. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to this outdoor English lesson. I mentioned in the description, and I mentioned yesterday on my live stream, that I was probably going to do this one inside, but it ended up being quite a nice day, although it's only 11 degrees out here. So you'll notice I put on an extra layer of clothing just to stay a bit warm. I think maybe I should have put gloves on as well, but hey, I'm Canadian. I'm built to be outside in the cold. It might just take me a little while to get used to it. If things get a little too cold, I'll just ask Jen to bring me a winter hat, a toque, and some gloves, but I don't think we're there yet. Anyways, welcome to this live question and answer English lesson. There is a link in the description below. I think I put it there. Yes, you can use that to ask questions. Also, members in the chat can type !link. They can type this. Let me see if I can do it. And then Nightbot should put the link into the chat for everyone to see. I hope that's working. There it is. And that should be the link if you want to ask a question. Let me do a quick audio check. I have a couple dogs out here with me, and Jen's actually not home today. So I thought we would do something fun. By the way, here's the river cam. This is my action cam that I'm using now. Now I'm worried if I call Walter over that he might run into some of my equipment. Walter, you want this? Go this side. Go this side. No, don't. There's all wires on that side, pup. You want this? Okay, go. You should see Walter running out there in a moment. Let's see if we can get Oscar. Oscar, come. Come, Oscar. You want this? Uh-oh. I think I might have caused a dog fight. We'll see in a minute. Hopefully no equipment gets disturbed. I think Walter might have taken both of the treats. We'll see how that goes. I did bring extra, by the way, just in case they do start a fight. Here you go, Oscar. You take those. You might hear some crunching sounds behind me in a moment, but yes, I think Walter took off with both of the bigger treats. Oh well, I'll fix that on another day. Anyways, welcome to this live English lesson. If you do have a question, please ask it. I'll see if there's a question in the forum, and we'll get started. I should say hi to Freddie Wolf, this Amy, Muhammad, No That is here. No, that says you're always warm, Bob. Is this the usual moment? Yeah, I'm usually always warm, but this might be that rare time where I get a little bit cold. Hi to Michael, Lidar. I know Irina is here. Unsel was, our Vitor was here, but had to leave. I saw Ruslan earlier. William, that's Amy. Weirda, Kot, Amid, Mode Eggs. Hello, Mode Eggs. Good to see you. Redfish and Crawfish. And Unsel is here. There's Unsel. Baravilson is here. Lolly Lolly, of course, and many others. Hi, Naomi. Mode says, I blame my tardiness on Brett. Yeah, Brett just did a live stream before this on emotions. So I'm sure that was cool. I was going to jump in, but then I, at the last moment, decided to do the live stream outside, and that took a little more time to set up. But anyways, we're good to go. So yes, the river cam has a bit of a wider angle. So this is actually my action camera. I think if I go over here, I can actually wave to you because it's such a wide angle lens. You can see almost everything. But enough about that. Let's get a question on the screen and let's get started. Should I do one more audio check just for good luck, maybe? Sorry, I'm laughing at myself waving. I entertain myself quite easily, I think. Okay, let me get a question on the screen. Let's see here. From Ruslan, we have, hello, the coolest teacher Bob. Are Chinese cars popular in Canada? And which brand and model would you choose if you were to buy a new vehicle? So I don't know if there are any Chinese cars in Canada. I am aware that China has a very good automotive industry, but usually we drive cars that are imported from Japan, Korea, various countries in Europe, and of course, Canada and the United States build cars together. The city of Detroit builds a lot of cars in the US, but across the border, there's a city called Windsor in Canada, which also, I think the car manufacturing in North America is so intertwined. The US does the majority of it, but Canada makes a lot of parts. If I was to buy a new vehicle, I would still buy another minivan. We're still in the minivan stage right now. From Renata, by the way, I do have this set up as well. From Renata, hi Bob. I don't know if native English speakers use the word telenovela, but does it mean the same as soap opera? Yes, I think so. Soap operas are TV shows that are shown in the afternoon. Usually, I think they were originally made for people who were home from work while their spouse worked. And I've never watched a soap opera, so I don't really know much about them. And is loft the same as attic? For me, no. A loft would be a livable space in the top floor of a house, or a loft can also be a type of apartment that doesn't really have rooms. So a loft apartment, the living room, bedroom, and kitchen are one open space, and then there's usually a separate room for a bathroom. But a loft is always livable. An attic is usually a space in the top part of a house used mostly for storage. You store stuff in the attic. Let's see. I'm not sure about this one. Why should I use many X, much X, a lot? So there were many people there. There weren't many people there. Yeah, I'm going to have to do a lesson on many and much because I'm not coming up with a good answer right now. Because we do say, how much is that when something is for sale? How much is that? How much does that cost? And then the person would respond and say, how many do you want to buy, right? So yeah, they do have different usages for sure. Hey, I'm going to give you a view of the river for a second, have a sip of water. The wind has calmed down a bit. I'm happy about that, because that makes it just a little bit warmer for me. You can see Walter over there having his treat. Oscar is on the other side of the driveway. He doesn't want to be part of this English lesson. Okay, next question. Here we go. From Henry. Hi, Teacher Bob. What does delusion of adequacy mean? Thanks a million. So when you have a delusion, it means you believe something that isn't true. And sometimes we might say someone is delusional. If I said, I am better looking than Brad Pitt, Jen would probably say, hey, you're a handsome guy, but you're delusional. Brad Pitt is far more attractive than you are. So when you're delusional, if you have a delusion of adequacy, it would mean you think you're better at something than you actually are. You may have coworkers who think they're the most amazing employee at the company, and they might be a little bit delusional. They might have a delusion of adequacy. They're not as adequate or good as they think they are. Yuri says, hello, we are Canadian, we are Canadians. You can say both. What is the difference in meaning in these sentences? They're the same, and it's kind of an odd thing. If someone said, if I was with a group of people in another country and we were all Canadian, or if we were all Canadians, if someone said, where are you from? I could say, we're Canadian, or we're Canadians. You can say both. It's kind of a strange and weird thing. Hey, Marwanto has said, hello, Mr. Bob, using his member for 29-month super chat. Thank you very much, Marwanto. That's very cool. Thank you for being a supportive member of this channel. And I do want to shout out Brent as well. Brent is my best friend English teacher on the internet. That's why I would call him. It was so fun when Brent came down last summer, and hopefully we can do something again next summer. I was going to say or earlier, but you know, during the teaching year, Brent and I are both teachers. During the teaching year, it's a little hard to do the kinds of things we did last summer. It was fun to have time to do that. So hi, Brent. Hope you're doing well. Mode says many with countable things, a lot with everything. Much isn't used as much, but normally with things you can't count and in the negative. Yeah, we say not much a lot. What are you up to today? Not much. Did you buy a lot of groceries? No, I didn't buy much at the store. Like you're always downplaying the amount. Thanks for that, Mode. Let's see here. Let me get another question up on the screen. From Abdenoir. I'm going to use the French pronunciation. I'm going to add an it. Is it possible to learn languages is it possible to learn two different languages at the same time? If yes, how? So my answer to this has always been the same. For some people, this is possible. For me, this is very difficult. I have worked really hard to learn French as one of the languages I speak. Whenever I try to learn a third language, I do start to get confused. I start to mix up the words. And so for me, it's very difficult. There are people, however, who are very talented, very gifted at learning languages. It's very easy for them. So you just have to figure out whether it works for you. That would be the biggest thing. Okay, let me get the next question here. I think I brought out a really good dog treat. Walter's been working on it for quite a while. Let's see here. From Lolly Lolly. Bonjour, Bob. What's the difference between I have learned from, I have learned of, or about? So when you learn from, it means you're declaring the source or where the information came from. So I learned a lot from my dad about farming. I learned a lot from my uncle about building houses and doing construction. I learned a lot from books when I was growing up because I liked to read. So when I use learn from, I always reference where the information came from. You know, I learned a lot from an older teacher when I started teaching. When you use of and about, did you learn? Like I use about more, but you can learn of. I think I use about more. Like I'm going to today. I'm going to learn about how to build a hammock stand because one of my next videos will be me building a hammock stand. So I'm going to learn that from a few YouTube videos and I'm going to learn about it. So I don't think I use of very much with learn. Hopefully I answered that correctly, Lolly Lolly. Hopefully I was able to give you some advice there. Fabian, hi Teacher Bob, thank you for your job. We usually say thank you for your work. You say nice job or good job or good work, or nice work. But when you say thank you, it's almost always thank you for your work. So thank you for your work. Thank you. I have a question. My English level is B2, but I'd like to know how to become C1 level. Some advice. To me, being a French learner I have my B2 certificate from Alliance Française, I would say this. The jump from B2 to C1 requires an enormous amount of time. And you either need to hire someone as an online tutor for several hours a month, or you need to go study or live in the country that speaks that language. I think the jump from B2 to C1 is very challenging to do without being in a country that speaks that language. So for me, if I wanted my C1 French, this is what I would do. I would go to Preply. There's a link in the description below, by the way, to a website called Preply. And I would probably hire someone, a French tutor, to speak to me for 1 hour a day, 5 days a week, for 6 months to 9 months. And I would probably hire someone who specializes in getting you to the C1 level. As well, I would watch all my TV every day in that language. I would read all my books in that language. I would switch my phone and computer to that language. All my music would be in that language. So you almost have to create your own world of immersion in order to do that. Okay, let's see here. Next question. Let's do wrong button there, Bob. Mohammed, hi Bob. When do trees start changing colors in Canada? I see they are still green right behind you. Yes, they are, but there are leaves on the ground. Oh, I'm driving into my microphone here. So, yes, leaves have started to turn color, but not, I think in about a week, it will be very beautiful here. Let's go to the river cam. You can get a better sense. Maybe you can't quite see it, but the trees across the river are starting to slowly turn color. The one above me has dropped a few leaves, but not a lot. From Filippo, member for 6 months. Hi, Bob. I know Albanian too, and sometimes mix words. Yeah, it's, I think, tricky when you speak more than one language, or if you speak three, it's easy to get things mixed up. Sita says, studying some English, Brent, with you and also with Bob. Good to see you, Sita. Good to see you in the chat. Let me see here. Mode says, I just want Mr. Bob to lay in it. Make sure it has no defects in it and is the right size. Yeah, so I did open it and it's good to go. And then the challenging thing was it was hard to put it back in the bag. It was really easy to take out of the bag. And we did kind of test it in the house, but it was really hard to put back in. But I think that's the idea, right? It's the kind of hammock you can take with you places. So, by the way, thanks, Mode, for the backpack. I will get it in some sort of working form, either indoors or outdoors in the next few weeks. Let's see here. Yaroslav says, hi, the wisest teacher, Bob. It's been a while. Good to see you, Yaroslav. What's new in your life? Haven't seen you for a long time. Take care. So what's new in my life? Well, it's a long weekend, so I don't have to go to work on Monday. So that means this weekend in particular, I will see a lot of family. We went to visit family yesterday. I actually got home at 1:30 in the morning, and I got up pretty early. So hopefully everything I say makes sense today. I'll probably see my mom later today or tomorrow. Monday, I think we'll just spend some time with our kids. So it's a holiday. That's what's new. Jen and I are done selling flowers at market. The last farmer's market was this past Thursday. So we're sad that it's over, but also quite happy that it's over because it makes our lives a little nicer. Although flowers are still growing, so Jen will still be selling for another week to wedding designers and floral designers. Amran in the chat says, hello, Bob. Nice to see you. Please, what is the difference between other and others and how we can use them? So I usually say this, some people like cheese and there's others that don't like cheese. I have a red van and my other van is a blue van. So there's a couple sample sentences. I know that doesn't give you a complete description or explanation, but it's the best I could do. Nathan says, good morning. I think that's what the G is for. What are your dog's names? Well, the black dog, let's see, we can see him, right? So that's Walter over there sitting in the lawn. You can't see Oscar because he's a little perturbed at Walter right now. And Oscar is the brown dog. You saw him earlier if you were on the live stream. So those are the names of the dogs. Freddie in the chat says some trees are blooming again, even though it's fall, because the abnormal high temperature we still have in France. So we just got out of that, Freddie. Last Wednesday, I think we set a record. I think we hit 30 degrees Celsius last Wednesday. Thankfully at market, it was much cooler. It was about 24 degrees. And now today we're, what are we at again? Oh, it's still, it's 11 degrees. Oh, I think it might be getting colder out here. So let's see here. Winter Wright says, hi, Bob. What's the meaning of XOXO? I checked it through the internet, but I could not understand. Thanks a lot. So it means hugs and kisses. Generally, in like years ago when people still gave greeting cards, they might say like if Jen gave me a birthday card, it might say, happy birthday, Bob. Have a good day. XOXOXO, which means hugs and kisses. So a hug is when you embrace someone, and a kiss is when you might, with your lips, kiss them on the cheek. Or if it's someone you are involved with romantically, you might kiss them on the lips. Let's see. Sita says, thanks for your nice work. You are welcome, Sita. Thanks for the super chat. That's awesome. And then let me remove this pinned message that says maybe we'll be outside, because we are outside. So thanks, Sita. That was awesome of you. Let's see. And Omran has done a super chat as well. Thank you so much, Omran. You are a great supporter of this channel. I do appreciate it. Let's see. Next question. I need a sip of water, though. So let's go to this display. And I'll remove my head from the corner so you guys can have a clear view of the bench and the river. And if you squint, I think this camera is better than the last camera I was using for the second cam. I think it's a little crisper. I'll have to check later. I'll watch the replay myself and see what it looks like. Let me get the next question here. Here we go. From Hung. Hi, Bob. I'm working hard at Apollo School to get a scholarship. We're going to add an A. It'll be nice if I study in Canada. What should I do if I meet you in person? What gift should I bring you? Do not bring me a gift. Just say hi. And don't forget to ask me to take a selfie with you. The last person that I met was very excited to see me, and we chatted for a few minutes. I was a little busy, but we chatted for a few minutes, and we didn't take a selfie. If you're going to meet me, you might as well take a selfie and then say, hey, guess who I met when I was walking down the street. So just don't forget to get a selfie. Let's see. From Minnie, I wonder if there are many words to pronounce or many ways to pronounce some words. I mean, like their syllables. For example, immediately. Sometimes I pronounce 4 syllables and 5 sometimes. So I say immediately. Immediately. Yeah, like, I don't know if it quite becomes 4 immediately. So I'm going to say this word immediately. Immediately. Yeah, it's definitely immediately. It's definitely 5, but it does get squished a little bit when you speak quickly. And that's fine. In informal English, we do often crunch things together. But yeah, I think... Thanks, Mode. Mode in the chat says, folks, please use the link to ask your questions. So what happens is, if you're a member, if your name is green, I sometimes look at the chat and I'll answer your question. But if you're not a member, please use the form. It's a great way to get your question on the list. I only have about 7 questions to go, so I will probably get through all the questions today. So just use the link. Remember, Mo just did the request. The link's going to pop up in the chat in a moment. Just use that. It's a great way to ask your questions. Let me do an audio check for a sec. You think Nightbot's a little slow? Maybe Nightbot's a little slow there, Mode. Sorry, there's just some strange... I thought somebody was driving in, but they're not. I guess you guys can kind of see that now, can't you? If someone drives in, you might be able to see it. Okay, let's get a question on the screen. Let me try it, Mo. Oh, there it goes. I was just going to do link, but maybe Nightbot was on coffee break. Maybe that's what was happening. Let's see here. Oh, I didn't preview the question. I saw the name and thought, this is a trustworthy person. I'll just put it up. Tiger is a plant. Rose is an animal. It's the other way around. Is B's response natural, Bob? If it's not, could you tell me the better way? No, that's what I would probably say. If someone said a tiger is a plant and a rose is an animal, I would say, no, it's the other way around. It's the other way around. I did say it a little quickly there, but definitely, yep. Well, and I would probably say, no, you got it wrong. It's the other way around. A tiger is an animal and a rose is a plant. Let's see here. William, my name is William. Hi, William. I'm from Malaysia. How to learn English in different languages. So the nice thing, there's a couple things for people who are starting to learn English that are nice. One is if Duolingo, I do like Duolingo as a tool, if it has an ability to help you learn English using your language, like I speak this language and I'd like to learn English, that can be very helpful. I do also recommend that you buy a grammar book written in your own language that explains English grammar. I think that can be very, very helpful as well. So make sure you do those 2 things. Let's see here. From Ka, I want to know more about the introductory sentence I've used in my opinion, or from my point of view, many times to talk about the topic. So I want different sentences. So you can say, I think. And there's another way to do it as well that is very, how I'm trying to think of how you would say it. It's a very nice way to do it. So instead of saying, I think, I'm going to say, I think it's cold outside today, you might say, I wonder if it's a little bit too cold to do a live stream. Instead of saying, in my opinion, it's too cold out today, or from my point of view, it's too cold out. You might say, I wonder if it would be better to do this live stream inside. I don't think we should do it inside, although my hands are getting cold for some reason. Here, let me warm up a little bit. Maybe my computer is putting out some heat. Maybe that will warm me up. By the way, don't stress if I'm feeling cold. I don't actually mind being cold. Although it could mean I might get sick in a few days. Who knows? From 2. How to use exactly 3 prepositions, at, on, and in. So I cannot explain this in about a minute during a live stream. I do have a video about this on my channel. If you search for at, in, by, on, Bob the Canadian, you'll find it. And I think I give a somewhat good explanation, but I will admit it is a tricky thing to master. Falling Star, let me have a sip of water here. Let's go to this for a sec, and I'll have a sip of water. Falling Star, didn't you used to have your name in French? I thought that was you. Okay, it's been a while now. How are you doing? Good. What do you think is the most challenging aspect of learning English? Thank you. I like the view, by the way. So for me, learning languages is mostly about being motivated and having time. That might be because of my stage in life. I'm a very busy person. I think one of the hardest things about learning English is to stay motivated, to stay excited to learn the language, and then to find the hour or 2 hours a day to actually do your studying. There are ways to stay motivated, like it's fun to listen to music. I think having a schedule to study helps you stay motivated as well. But I would say that's the most challenging part. If you want me to reflect on the language itself, in my opinion, or I think, probably things like phrasal verbs, and then those prepositions are hard, like in the last question, the in, at, by, on, all of those things. And then maybe the difference between the speed of informal spoken English versus, regular written English. So hopefully I said that right. Like when English speakers speak really fast, and when they speak with someone who they know really well, they speak informal English and it's hard to understand. Sorry, I went full speed there. I went a little bit faster than normal, actually. And it can be different than what you've read. Sita says, let's give Bob some more likes. Thank you. People watching forget to give likes. Well, I do want to say hi to the 358 people watching. That's weird. I hear a dog barking, but it's not my dog or either of my dogs. Maybe we'll have 3 dogs by the end of the day. We'll see. Okay. We're going to go to members only chat in a bit, but let me do one more question from Filippo. Next month, my older daughter will be in Toronto for the World Natural Bodybuilding Championship. Do you like bodybuilding as a sport? So I like it when people are healthy. So anything people do that involves playing a sport, walking, running, lifting weights, bodybuilding, I just admire people who do that. I think it's very cool when you take the time to make sure that you're living a healthy life. I go in spurts, you would say. Like I'm really healthy for a while, and then there might be a few weeks where I eat badly and don't exercise, and then I try to do it again. So that's very cool, Filippo. I hope that I hope she has a good time. I hope that she does well. Okay, let me see here. Shna says, hey Bob, what does deserve mean and how to use it? It's confusing for me, thanks. Well, my kids are really nice. They deserve a treat. So what that means is that if someone does something positive, it's nice or good to give them something. So when my students at school are really quiet and work hard for the whole class period, they deserve to play a game for the last 5 minutes of class. So it's when you earn something, it's when you get something because of your behavior. Falling Star says, thank you, Bob. And yes, my name was in French, but I changed it. It was Étoile Filante. Exactly. I thought that was you. Okay, I'm going to go River Cam, and I'm going to go members only chat. Just give me a second to set that up. Where is that button? It's over here. By the way, I also, even though I went to bed really late last night, okay, there we are. Members only chat mode is on. Even though I went to bed really late last night, I did have, because Jen and I were driving home late, I did have a can of Coke, a can of Coca-Cola, which has caffeine in it. And I don't normally drink caffeinated beverages. They make me a little bit hyper. So I might seem a little hyper right now because I had a can of Coca-Cola last night. I want to make sure I say Coca-Cola. Okay, we're going to do members only chat, but I'm also going to keep answering questions from the forum. I'll get one up on the screen. Here we go. Unabi, what system of home heating do you use in Canada? Do you have a centralized one in cities? So we do not have centralized heating. I was going to say we don't have it anywhere. There might be some places that have it, but generally most homes will have a furnace in the basement, in the lowest level of the house. That furnace will burn natural gas or propane, sometimes heating oil, or some people still burn wood in Canada to heat their homes. Those are the common ways to do it. Mostly people will use natural gas. If you live in an apartment building, it will have, central heating in the basement for the whole building. But I think probably the most common thing for people to use in Canada is natural gas. We have natural gas as a natural resource here. And so that is one of the things. Mesho, and then I'll get to members. Mesho says, hello, how are you? Good. My question is, how do I avoid being distracted while studying? So there's two things I really love in order to discipline myself to do things. One is making a list, and the other is using a timer. So when I have a lot of work to do, the first thing I do is I make a list of all the work I have to do. And then I sometimes might set a timer. I'll just say, okay, I'm going to work for 45 minutes. I'll set a timer, a kitchen timer. And then when it goes off, I'll go for a little 5-minute walk. And then I'll say, okay, I'm going to work again. There's something called for studying, I think it's the Pomodoro method, the tomato method. You can get a little kitchen timer that looks like a tomato, and you study for 55 minutes and then take a 5-minute break. But I would do that. Make a list of everything you want to accomplish, and then use a timer and when the timer's going, you can't use your phone when the timer's on. You can't go get a snack. You can't go outside and enjoy the beautiful fall leaves. You work for as long as the timer is going. Okay, if you're one of the 380 people watching, don't leave just because I'm doing members only chat. We will get back to the question form in a sec. But Lolly says, to do an experiment and to make an experiment, same thing. We say do in my part of the world. I'm going to do an experiment. I'm going to leave chocolate all over the house, little pieces of chocolate, and see which kid finds the most. That would be, I'm going to do an experiment. And same with, I'm going to do a study. Like you might do a study on how many students forget their backpacks when they go to class. Yaroslav says, any piece of advice on autumn, Teacher Bob, besides hot beverages, of course. So one of the best pieces of advice that I got long ago was enjoy autumn as best as you can because winter is coming. And what that means is, even though it's only 11 degrees right now, I'm outside enjoying this. I could say, oh, it's a little cold. I should do the live lesson inside, or it's getting cold. I don't want to go for a hike today. But when winter comes, you're going to have to stay inside because it's just too cold. So you should get outside and enjoy autumn as best as you can before the actual snow starts to fly. Let's see here. Harry 300 says, guys, have you ever heard of the phrase L'Alcom fit. No, I have not heard of that phrase. Mr. Azaz, what's going on in Canada? I've heard there are some protests now. So if you've watched my videos for a while, you'll realize I avoid talking about politics. I avoid talking about, there's a few topics I avoid. One is politics. So all I can say is this. I'm Bob the Canadian. I think Canada's a great country, and I think everyone in the world should be nice to each other. I know sometimes there's things in the news, but here's all I can do to make the world a better place. I can teach English, so I'm going to keep doing it. So that's my response to, that's as political as I'll get. So Sita says, it's nice to be with you. It's been a long time. I couldn't be around. Thanks for your great work. You are welcome, Sita. You are definitely welcome. Yaroslav saying hi to Nightbot. Amran says, in your opinion, Bob, how many years it takes to master the English language from the beginning? So I know that this is going to sound crazy, but I think if you spent an hour a day, 5 days a week, depending on how fast you learn, it's going to be 3 to 7 years. Like if you learn stuff really, really quickly, I think you can get pretty far in 3 years studying an hour a day. And that study isn't just reading. Like that's reading and writing and listening and practicing with a conversation partner. I think if you go to a country where people speak English, in 3 to 6 months, if you spend as much time as you can speaking and talking and interacting with English people, you can also get pretty far. But I don't know. I'm a big fan of testing. So study, test, and see how rapidly you can progress. Let's see here. Lolly says hi to Oscar. Yep. Filippo says, I have a schedule while I work morning shift from 6 a.m. to 8:30 British music, break. From 8:40 to 11, Bob's and Brent's podcasts. Awesome. Break. By break, he means take a break. From 11:30 to 1:30, Canadian radio, City News, Ottawa. Very cool. That's a good schedule, by the way. No, that says, Bob, could you pass some greetings to Dave the Canadian for me? That would be great. Thanks in advance, and thanks for everything, sir. Yeah, I'll do that right now. Let me text Dave for a sec. Let's see here. Dave the Canadian. Oh, he's really low down in my texting because I haven't texted him for a bit. Know that says hi in the chat. There we go. He'll respond in a bit, I'm sure. Let's see here. Lolly says, thanks for your answer, Bob. Pas de problème, no problem. Tara says, is it supposed to be sunny and it has to be sunny? What is the difference? So if I say tomorrow it's supposed to be sunny, it means that the weather forecast said it's going to be sunny tomorrow, and we're all hoping it's going to be sunny. If I say it has to be sunny, that would be more like we're having an outdoor wedding tomorrow. It has to be sunny. It means like you really need it to be sunny. You want it very much to be sunny, or the thing you want to do can't happen. So that would be the difference. Let's see here. Harry says, where is Dave, by the way? So Dave is busy. Dave, by the way, is a university student. I think he's in his 3rd or 4th year, and he is getting busy, as most students do at that point in their studies. So he asked and said that he wasn't able to moderate anymore. So let's see here. Michael says, are your soybeans harvested yet? And if so, what was the yield? So yes, they are harvested. Winter wheat is planted. The yield was only 40 bushels to the acre, which is low for my crop. Last year we got 62 bushels to the acre, but I was happy with that because it was a strange year. It was a very, very strange year. Let's see here. No, that says, sorry, Bob, for that, but I have to keep my promise. Oh, yes. Vitor wanted Know That to warn me. A warning has been given to Learn English with Bob. Please stop what you are doing. Well, I'm not going to stop live streaming, that's for sure. Adelis has given me a super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. And then there's a button that says celebrate the first super chat from Adela Beatriz Escobar on my screen. Cristiani, very cool name. Thanks for the super chat. That's awesome. Is there a way for me to celebrate it? I can just celebrate it by giving you a shout out. Thank you very much for that. No, that says thanks, Bob, and you are welcome. Let me get a question on the screen while I wait for some more member questions to pop up. Okay, let me see here. Where are we? Question on the screen. Al Gore is here. Hi, Bob. Thanks. There are two ways to say on one hand and on the other hand. Whenever I hear on the other hand, I picture a one-handed man. What do you think? No, I don't picture that, but I can see how you could do that. On one hand, let me see. I'm trying to think of it. On one hand, I enjoy doing errands in the afternoon, but on the other hand, I also like taking naps. So it's hard to do both at the same time. Let me do one more question and I'll get back to the chat members. The wind is certainly picking up here. I don't know if you can see it. Let's go to this cam. Yeah, you can kind of see the branches moving a bit. Let's see here. Question. Maxime, hello, Mr. Bob. Do you have fences between land plots of different owners, or are they prohibited, as in California? There used to be fences out in the country around every field. Okay, it was very common because most farmers had livestock. They had cows, they had goats, they had sheep. But now around here, there's less. I think the farms that have livestock are bigger and the animals are sadly mostly kept inside. So fences have been mostly removed. Like I do not have fences around my property. I'm just looking at Walter there. I thought he was going to step on my wires. Okay, back to the chat. Mode says, how much time does it take to learn a language? Is a very open-ended question. It definitely is. There are just too many factors that play a role here. Yes. And probably the biggest factor is the person's ability to memorize things. So I teach languages, right? I teach French as well. And sometimes I have students who can look at a word once and they know it. And I have other students where they need to make flashcards and practice the word and use it in a few sentences. And it's just more challenging. So there's a lot of factors, but one is your how quickly you can memorize stuff. I was going to say your raw ability. Freddie Wolf, voici la suite. That was quite tough and exhausting. On the other hand, it's super effective for learning to speak. Yes, I would say that. Let me see here. Oh, I'm reading the same question again. Just scrolling back for a sec. Okay, we're good. I'm losing track of what I'm doing. No, that says, I hope you'll never stop doing your lessons. Well, someday I'll retire. Know that. Someday I will retire, but I don't know what that will look like, and that is a long ways off. Like, the earliest I would retire is probably 10 years from now, maybe 12. And as long as I'm working, I will most likely be doing YouTube as well. I do really enjoy it. Harry300 says, why did Nightbot warn you? Because members can warn other people, and someone agreed to jokingly warn me during the live stream. Know that, says Harry300. Bob has made it possible for members to give warnings. Thanks, Know that, if something happens in the chat. Yaroslav says, on one side, on the second side, we say in Ukraine. Ah, interesting. Let's see. Filippo, super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. And then New Words with MP is here. And what does New Words with MP do? Sometimes gives out memberships to people. But right now it says, hello, sir. Thanks for the live stream. I think my phone is hacked. I've given one membership and super chat. Oh, and I don't know if I've seen it. So hopefully that went through. Maybe not. We'll see. I'll have to check later to see if that went through. Okay, let me get let me get members only chat turned off. Let's see here. Go back to subscriber mode. By the way, I don't know if I'm going to get more moderators. It was nice, but when I started live streaming, there weren't. Like now you have to be a subscriber for 5 minutes before you can comment. There's Nightbot helps a little bit. So I think I'll do without it. No, that says perfect, Bob, because you said yesterday it takes 10 years to master a language, so I have enough time. You have enough time. Yep, for sure. Let's see here. Let me get a question on the screen. And I'll have a sip of water while I read that. Michael says, good morning. Is the expression Hamlet of used in everyday English? So a hamlet is a really small town. We don't use the word very often anymore. By the way, Dave has not responded. Maybe he's super busy this morning. Um, like there's a really small town close to me, and technically it's a hamlet, but no one calls it that. We just call it a town. So it's not a super common word in my part of the world. Guillermo, do you believe that tools like Cambly can improve our English faster? I do think that having English conversations early in the learning process are a good idea. I think websites like, I think is it italki and Cambly and Preply. There is a link below for Preply if you want to visit and have a look. What I think it does is this. There's two things you can do to externally motivate yourself to learn English. One is book a session with someone on a website like Preply. And then because you know every week you'll be talking to that person, it will improve your study throughout the rest of the week because you'll want to show them that you improve. And then, or book a test like 6 months from now, and that'll help you stay motivated to study as well. From somebody, hi Bob, how do I read written English which is confusing for non-English speakers? Please explain completely and accurately how to read English writing with linking words. So, see, the nice thing about writing is about reading is that you can read as slowly as you need to understand it, and you can stop to look up words. So first of all, I would say read slowly and carefully and look up as many words as you can. And then it's important, it takes time, but it's important to reread something. And it's important to leave space between when you reread it. So if I was to read something really difficult, I would read it once and I would circle all the words I don't know and I would look them all up. As soon as I'm done learning those words, I would reread it. And then the next day, 24 hours later, I would read it again. Repetition is boring, but very effective when you're learning a language. It's something you just kind of have to, I think it's something you just have to kind of decide you're going to do. I don't know how to describe how to stay motivated. Do we have dogs behind me? Yes, there's Walter. Or sorry, there's Oscar. I'm getting my dogs confused. Oscar's having a look. He's probably looking for a treat. I think Walter went away, so we can give Oscar. Oscar! Oh, I think he disappeared now. I can't get, oh, here he's coming. Here, Pop. There. Do I have a favorite dog? Maybe. I won't say on camera if I have a favorite dog. That would be very nice. Let's see here. Did I answer the last question? No, hopefully I did. Unknown. What's the difference between... Let me just check. I'm pretty sure I did, but who knows? Oh, yeah. I think I did. Okay. From unknown, what's the difference between thumbs up and thumb up? I have a little confusion when hearing give me a thumbs up. So this is something that... I don't know why we started it, but this is thumb. This is a thumb. But on the internet, when you click the little thumbs up button, we've added an S. Give me a thumbs up. It technically shouldn't be plural. Like, I have two thumbs. This is a thumb. But when you give someone a thumbs up, we add an S. So it's just something we've decided to do. And I think we're going to keep doing it. So it's one of the weird things about the English language. Hey, by the way, if you're one of the 400 people watching, don't forget to subscribe. And you will get notified when I do new lessons. Let's see here. Pedro. Hi, Bob. How are you? Good. Do you raise animals on your farm? Thank you for today's live and the beautiful scenery. Yes, we have goats. We have one sheep, one old sheep. We used to have more sheep, but sheep are a little more work. And so we have goats, and they go eat on the pasture behind me. If you look, I wonder if I could show you this. Let me try this. I'm going to attempt something never done before. Okay, so if you look right here, like here's the river. The river's right here, and this is pasture, and this is where our goats go out to eat. So hopefully you could hear that. when I first got over there, I forgot that. I probably had to yell a little bit for you to hear it. Now I want to watch the live stream to see what that sounds like. Oh yeah, I should do that more often, maybe. You're welcome for showing the beautiful scenery, Pedro. Okay, let's see here. From Levy, can we forget our native language if we block completely and extremely for 20 years? Only listen, read, and speak in English. Can someone forget his own language? Sorry, Walter came through wondering where the dog treats are. Hey, Walter. Walter. Oh, there might be a dog fight. Just be patient. Okay, you guys good? Okay, that's it for today. No. Go. So hopefully my action cam doesn't take a tumble here with the dogs behind me. Have I mentioned that too many times now? I'm always worried. So here's the thing. In English, we have a phrase, when you learn certain things and you never forget them, we say it's like riding a bike, which means you never forget it. And I don't think it's true with languages. I think if you stop speaking a language, you don't forget it completely, but it does slowly become more difficult to speak the language again. So when my parents came from the Netherlands, they spoke Dutch, and my mom still can a bit, but not as well as she used to when she was a lot younger. So it can be challenging. This is from Bob the Brazilian. Hi. How can someone be obsessed with English? Well, you can be obsessed with almost anything. It depends on your personality. If you have an obsessive personality, it means you get like really, really interested in certain things. There was a time where I wasn't teaching French and I knew the French teacher was retiring. So I became obsessed again with improving my French. I think I studied for 2 hours a day. I took my B1, my B2 test all within a 2-year period because I really wanted to become the French teacher. I taught French when I first started teaching way back in the late 90s. But then I moved into computers and tech support. And then I moved back into French about 7 years ago or so. So anyways, I became obsessed with improving the language. Hey, Walter, there's no more. Hey, they're all gone. Yeah. My dog doesn't understand English, but I still speak English to them. Ario, help. Sorry, I'm so late. Hope you'll see my question. Where's Dave? Any thoughts on animated series or movie lesson that I requested? Hope you make it for me. I will see what I can do about the animated series. And again, Dave is not retired, but Dave has moved on to other more important things than moderating. So I know some of you miss him, but he might pop in occasionally. Who knows? We'll see. But I can't promise that. Let's see here. Hugh from China. Hi, Mr. Bob. I was wondering if memorizing vocabulary, not every single words, but with sentences, is useful for learning English or not, like bricks for buildings. So whenever you can learn a word in context, whether that means having a picture of the word or having it in a sentence or with related items, it can help you remember it. So bricks, and you think of the picture of a building, like, you guys can't see my house, but my house has bricks. Yeah, I think that is helpful. My recommendation is learn the word. If you can learn the word with a picture beside it instead of a definition in your own language, that can help. And then you have to use the word multiple times. The day you learn it, the week you learn it, use it 6 or 7 times. Write it, say it, listen to a song that has that word in it. Do everything that you can do. What did I do here? Gabby says, hi, Teacher Bob. Thank you for your lesson. My question is, which one is right? If I was to say, or if I were to say, because I hear both. Yeah. If I were to say one is right, if I was to say one is right, yeah, I say both. If you were to say, I'm flipping it around now. What's the best food in the world? Well, if I was to say that pizza is the best food in the world, some people might disagree. But if I were to say pizza isn't the best food in the world, other people might disagree. So yes, you can use both. And one of them is probably slightly incorrect grammatically, but in informal spoken English, we don't care. We just say both. From Roseanne, let me check something here. Oh, okay. I'm going to finish off the last 6 questions and we'll wrap this up. Roseanne, hi Bob. Like a flower farmer, do you know some edible flower farms in Ontario? Thanks. I do not. It's rare for people to grow edible flowers. There's not a huge market for them. Usually some high-end restaurants will use them. We do not grow anything edible or sell it as edible. From Justin Bieber, hi Teacher Bob, do you have some ideas of losing weight quickly and healthy? Forever support wise and gentle Teacher Bob. So I can only say what works for me. In order for me to stay healthy, I walk for about an hour a day. I try to not overeat. I don't usually eat after 6 o'clock at night. And then if I know I'm eating too much, I might actually track what I'm eating for a couple of days just to remind myself of how much to eat. But certainly being physically active for me is the best way to stay a healthy weight. And to lose weight quickly, I would say definitely walking. Walking is like, everyone can walk. So even if you're feeling like, you're not healthy enough to exercise, go for a 5-minute walk. Everyone can walk for 5 minutes. The next day, go for a 6-minute walk. The next day, maybe take a break, and the next day, go for a 10-minute walk. And before you know it, you'll be walking for 20, 30, 40 minutes a day, maybe even for a whole hour. From Helen, I'd like to drive it. Oh, okay, just a sec. Is this the correct expression when we rent a car and we want to drop it off at the same place as we pick it up? No, like when you go on a round trip on an airplane, you go there and back. But with a car rental, I would say, okay, I'd like to rent a car and I'd like to drop it off here when I'm done. I would probably just describe what I'm doing. That's, I think, what I would do. I think the dogs might bark in a sec because I think Jen is home. It's good timing. From the God Ultimate Teacher, do you have some idea how the brain adapt to a new foreign language? No, I don't, but I do know, like doing, like learning a language, learning to play an instrument, all of those things are good for your brain. They are really, really good for your brain. And if you want to stay alert as you get older, do one of those 2 things or both. From Freddie the Frenchie, hey Bob, I don't have any questions today. I just want to thank you so much for all the great work you do. Thanks, Freddie. I do appreciate that. I will keep on doing it. It was fun to take a break, but it's more fun to be back. Eva says, are dogs the most popular pets in Canada? Make a lesson about pets in Canada, please. I think dogs and cats are the 2 most popular pets in North America. And then you would have, less common would be, fish in an aquarium, a bird. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm not a huge pet person. Like hamsters and gerbils and all that would be less common, but also around. From Ben, hello Bob. I'm very thankful for your video that helps others learn English. You are very welcome. It's fun. It's fun to do these lessons, and it's fun to be able to do them outside. It's fun to be able to share the world around me. I've always dreamt. Sometimes let me have a sip and I'll try to say this right. My dream would be that I could do this live lesson outside year round. Every November, I have high hopes that I'll be able to do the first lesson in November outside, but it's usually too cold by then. But who knows? When the first Saturday of November rolls around in a little while, maybe it will be nice enough for me to do the lesson outside. That would be a lot of fun. I would just need to dress a little more appropriately. In English, when you say someone dresses appropriately, it can mean 2 things. You want to dress appropriately for the weather. So I wore a sweater today because it's a little cold. I wanted to dress appropriately for the weather. But also it can mean that you wear the right clothes for the event you're going to. If you are going to a formal dinner, you want to dress appropriately. I would wear a suit and tie if I was going there. Let's see here. Mode says, member for 30 months. Wow, time flies. Brent just did a lesson at an animal shelter. Yes, That was very cool. If you want to put the link in the chat, you can. I think you can do that. But yes, Brent. So I think Brent did that after he left my place in the summer. I remember he mentioned he was going to be doing a lesson at an animal shelter. So that's very cool. Sita says we can hear the wind. Yes, it's definitely picking up out here. If I stop talking, though, you won't hear the wind because the mic turns off. But yes, it's definitely fall. That's what I would say. It's definitely fall weather here right now. Last week it was like summer in October or in September, and now it's October and it's really fall. It's autumn. Autumn has come. Hey, I'm going to say bye to everyone, and we're going to stop this and take a break. Not take a break. We're going to stop the lesson. Bye to Michael and Sita and Harry and Redfish and M. And let's see. Sita says, shout out to Brent for sure. Bob and Brent are great. Awesome. Nestaran says, hello, Bob. Thanks a lot for all your great videos. Would you please tell me what is the best way to learn vocabulary? For me, it's reading. I learn the most vocabulary when I read. Brent says, I paid Mode to say that. What did Mode say? Did I miss something here? Oh, no, that's right. Let's see. Tafiq says, hi, Bob. How to describe a person, place, or thing? I'll do a lesson on that. But if you go back, there are Friday lessons where I do how to describe people, how to describe things. Know that says, thanks again for the great hour. No problem. I wish you a nice long weekend. Greetings to Jen and enjoy the time with your family. I'm leaning because the sun's on my screen, if you're wondering why I'm doing that. Oh, Walter wants to talk. Did you hear him? He wanted to say hello, I guess. Let's see here. Bye to New Words with MP. Bye to Ben. Talk Italian with Arone. Tankun, Al Gore, Arena, Hugh, Goldfish, Freddie Wolf. My table just got a dog against it. Let's see here. I don't know if you guys probably couldn't see that, but my whole table just went up and down. Bye to Arena, New Words with MP, Lolly, Goldfish, Yaroslav. Member for 18 months says bye, everyone. Bye, Yaroslav. Maxim, Al Gore, I'm repeating people's names now. Bye to everybody. It was a lot of fun. I do really enjoy doing these lessons. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next Friday with a new live lesson if you're a live lesson attender. Bye. Have a good day.